Hello, 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 and welcome back to Dreamer Reviews. I'm your girl Dreamer, and I'm here to review. That's right. So I was on my live Friday, and I said I will come back on Sunday and give y'all a cute little funky out review. Okay, so we're doing a throwback today. That's right. It's not Throwback Tuesday, but it is Throwback Sunday. We going way, way back, okay, to when 1985. When I saw this movie, I was actually a little girl, okay, very little girl. And I saw it and I thought it was super cool. And back then. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to review it because somebody brought it up at work the other day. We were talking about good old movies back in the day. And I said, you know what? That's a really good movie. Let me go ahead, come to my page, and do a cute little review for you on this wonderful, wonderful movie. So, the name of the movie we're going to be reviewing today is The Legend of Billie Jean. That's right, The Legend of Billie Jean. It came out in 1985. Some of the stars of this movie is Christian Slater, which, became a big blow-up star shortly after this. I think he played a couple movies before this. Hello, hello, everyone. So, hi, how's everyone doing? So, we're doing a review on The Legend of Billie Jean today. And Helen Slater starred in it, as well as Christian Slater. This movie came out in 1985, so it is a complete throwback movie. And the running time is approximately an hour and 36 minutes. And the director was Matthew Robin. And let's get to the review as well as the full breakdown. Okay, so The Legend of Billie Jean starts out with a beautiful young lady and her brother, her younger brother. They're on a little scooter type motorcycle, and they're kind of like, just going through the neighborhood and, doing their thing. And they get accosted by four ruffians, but they're not really like that, but I guess like they were bullying them and they were taking stuff way too far. They definitely did. And the brother wasn't really here for it because it was trying to get with the sister, and it was just like Slimeball who kept on trying to come at his sister, one of the guys that they know in the neighborhood. And the brother was not having it, so he poured a milkshake on the guy. The guy was so embarrassed that later on he caught the brother and sister swimming in a pond. So he takes the brother's scooter slash motorcycle, I guess it's like a moped, and he basically steals it and wrecks it. So the brother decided that he was going to kind of leave. He was like, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and get that scooter. I'm going to go get it right now. So I'm out of here. So the sister tries to stop him, and she gets a couple of her friends like, please take me to the police station because my brother is going to do something silly. And the brother name is Binks. She's like, Binks is going to do something real crazy. I need you to take me to the police station. So, hello, Natalie. So the friend takes her to the police station, and the brother goes ahead and he does run off and try to get his scooter. So the police department really wasn't going to do anything. They just kind of brushed it off like, oh, okay, well, we'll check after in a couple days. I bet you he's going to bring it back. So in a couple days, if it's not back, then come back to us. Yeah, well, the brother decided he was going to take the stuff in his own hands, and he went ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you. He's going to take it into his own hands, and he's going to get his scooter back. So he runs off to try to get the scooter, and when his sister sees him, finds him later on, she sees the scooter, and it's completely trashed. And she goes closer to the scooter, and what does she find? Her brother. He's thrashed, okay? So he went and got a scooter, but at his own detriment. These ruffians beat him up and destroyed his scooter. So the next day, she said, you know what? This isn't going to end here. We're going to get the scooter fixed. So she takes the scooter to the shop, and the price comes to like $603 to get it fixed or something, like just some odd number like that. And she goes ahead and goes to the guy's father's shop, and she see the guy there, and he goes ahead and tries to give her a little bit of that energy. Thank you so much. And she gave that energy right back to him, and she kicked him in the sack. Bow. That's right. Made him fall like a cheap suit, and he hit the floor. So once that happened, the father just so happened to walk in, and the people in the store was like, oh, you know, we don't want no beef. We don't want no problem. So they decide to, you know what, we're not going to get nothing from here. We're going to leave. So the father comes in, and the father is, no wonder the son is snotty, just a slime ball, because King Slime Ball is his father. That's right. The slime ball of a father, okay? Just a big sack of turds. That's what he is. Comes in, and he's sitting there talking to the girl like, well, come on upstairs. I'll give you the money. So she follows him upstairs. Hi, Natalie. She follows him upstairs and decides, you know what? Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He slides $50 over to her, and he propositions her in the most disgusting, nasty way. Yeah, this is a big, nasty old man propositions this young teenage girl who is in school and says, yeah, why don't you come over here? And each time you come over here, I'll give you a little bit more money, and I'm going to teach you things that you've never been taught, and all this other disgusting stuff that he starts to say to her. Yeah, he was really gross, okay? If you're new here, please like and sub. Please like and sub. So he tells her all this nasty stuff that he's going to sit here and do to her. She's trying to get away from him, and he grabs her, and he's like, you know, trying to assault her. So she's trying to fight this man off, but he is a lot bigger than her, and she's doing the best that she can. So because she was sitting and, you know, because she was up there so long, her brother and her friend is like, what's taking her so long? You know, what's taking Billie Jean so long? Let's go in there and see what's going on. So they go in there, and Binks, the brother, is like, oh, I knew they wouldn't give her the money. I knew she couldn't get the money like that. So he decides, we're going to just take the money. So he goes in the cash register, and when he goes in the cash register, what does he see? He sees a lollipop. And you know on this channel what we call lollipops, right? Any type of weapon is a lollipop. So he sees a lollipop, and he decides that he's going to take it. And so then he's playing around with it because Binks is a little kid, and he's, you know, just a little kid. It wasn't a smart thing to do. Absolutely not. But he takes the gun, and he's holding on to it. And he's like, where is Billie Jean at? Now, as he's saying this, he hears his sister struggling, and it kind of freaks him out. And so when she comes down the stairs, because she got away from him briefly, the guy grabs her and holds on to her, and he kind of puts her in front, and he's telling the boy, put down the gun, Binks, put it down, son. And Binks is like, absolutely not. I'm not putting anything down. And so then as he's sitting here saying this, Binks decides that he's going to aim the gun at the guy because he sees the guy is threatening his sister. So Billie Jean's like, Binks, stop playing, put the gun down. So the guy says, oh, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that word. I meant to say, put the lollipop down. Okay. The guy's like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was disgusting. So the guy's like, you know what? It's not even loaded. So he's like, the boy was like, you know, it's not loaded, and he's just, you know, moving it all around, moving the lollipop all around, and he's like, yeah, so just give it to me, kid. You think I'd have something loaded like this? Then you start seeing his real personality come out, and he's a nasty individual. So just then the son comes in, and he's telling his son, hey, how are you? So the son is like, so thank you. So the son is like, you know, get him. Well, what do you want? He has the lollipop in his hands. Why would I get him? And the dad is like, I don't put no, it's not loaded. The lollipop's not loaded. Go ahead and do what you're going to do. Grab him. So the son is scared, rightfully so. So the father decides, you know what? I'm going to get him. And as he does that, the boy doesn't know what he's doing, and he pops him with the lollipop. Yeah. That's okay. Have a good night. So he pops him with the lollipop, and so then they're all freaked out. Yeah, they're all freaked out. The best friend, Billie Jean, the sister, and the brother Binks, and the son is all freaked out because Binks just accidentally popped the predator, okay, with a lollipop. Yeah. So they freak out and they leave. So as they leave, she's like, come on, we got to get out of here, because the son's like, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to get the police after y'all. And yeah, so to get the police, they call the police. And before they even make it out of their neighborhood, what happens? They're all plastered all over the TV of being criminals and everything. So they decide to borrow one of the friends' vehicles. And as they borrowed one of the friends' vehicles, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to get out of town. We're going to go to Vermont. That's what the brother keeps saying. Like, he's such a kid. He doesn't understand that it takes a lot of money to get from one part of the world or U.S. to the other, because they live in Texas, right? And they're always talking about how extremely hot it is. So they want to go to Vermont where it's beautiful and cold. At least this is what's in their mind. Clearly from people who've never lived in a cold, because, yeah, let me tell you, it's not a piece of cake living in the cold. Anybody who's ever lived in the cold, you know that to be true. So the brother's like, we're going to go to Vermont. So they go ahead, and one of their other friends decide to come with them. So now it's 4. Count them, 4 of them on the run. 2 of her best friends, Billie Jean, and her brother, Binks. That's right. All 4 of them on the run, and all 4 of them were underage. Hey, Avocado, how are you? So all 4 of them are underage. Now, this is one of the things I did not like about the movie, and it made me realize that, the 80s actually had some problematic cinema back in the day. We have some now, but really, 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 really did. And that is that the young girls that they have in this photo, this movie. Now, the main girl, Billie Jean, gorgeous girl, they kept her in these tiny crop tops where she's wearing no bra and her nipples are always, everywhere, okay? And like, they have scenes of her getting out the pool, getting out the water, and all you see is just water cleans. And it's like, this is supposed to be a child, right? A coming of age child. And it is just not great cinema today. But it was, I guess, I don't know. I was a kid, so I don't know. But I thought it was cool, but not for those reasons. I'll tell you the other reasons why I thought it was really cool shortly if you stick around. So if you're new here, please like and sub. Please like and sub. So back to the movie. So they're on the run and they're doing all they can. And as they're on the run, they are being highly advertised by the media. Everywhere you go, they're in the newspaper, they're on the news, on everybody's TV screens. This is during a time where everybody didn't have cell phones and Wi-Fi. There was Wi-Fi, but, it wasn't just like it is like now. You'd have to go into, your computer, have to go into a library, or if you have money like that, you could possibly have one. But anyway, so she's like, oh my goodness, we're all over the place. So they stop and go to a grocery store. And as they're in the store, it's not really a grocery store, more like a convenience store where they're getting gas. And so as they're in the store, who do they see? Some fans. That's right. Billie Jean ends up with fans because all of the kids love the fact that she's standing up for herself. They are sick of these adults who take advantage of them. And they love the fact that she is standing on business and defending her brother and her friends. Yes. So they go ahead and they're so excited. And so these kids ends up paying for her food. So as they pay for her food, absolutely I will. As they pay for her food, she's happy and she gives one of the girls an autograph and they get in the car and they go. During this movie, you see a whole bunch of different hijinks of them almost getting caught but not quite getting caught. They end up eventually cruising through a neighborhood like a real high-end, rich, luxury, mansion-infested neighborhood. And they see one that looks like it's not really filled with anybody. They're like, oh, that looks empty. Let's go there for the night. And they go in there, and of course, it is not empty. There is another kid in there that's close around her age. He is a teenager. So because he's in there and he's a teenager, he ends up bonding with them. He knows who she is, and he's loving every minute of hanging out with these free, what do they call them? Wild, free, young type of energy. Outlaws. That's what they was calling them. They're outlaws. So he loved it and he enjoyed hanging out with them. His dad is a political figure. His father's never really around. So he, wants to kind of rebel, just like he feels like they're rebelling. So he's all for what they're doing. So he's like, oh yeah, come on, I'm going with you guys. And he's like, they're like, no, you can't come with us. We're on a run. This is not a joke. They really are after us because they, think we did something that we really didn't do. During this time, they're getting accused for things they had nothing to do with. Yes, they're getting accused for burning down schools. They're getting accused for lollipopping people that they don't even know or never even came in contact with. They getting accused for everything, robbing banks and all kind of weird stuff. And they're like, we didn't do it, we weren't even there. They're being seen all across the US and even in Mexico, and it's just so overwhelming that they're like, this is starting to spiral out of control. What can we do? It gets to a point where the boy convinces them, hey, you guys don't have anything that that the police want. Why not kidnap me? And so he's like, just go along with it. So he goes along and he hops in the back of the car and he wraps some rope around himself and try to pretend like he's been kidnapped because he wants to go with them. And let's be honest, he has a huge crush on Billie Jean. So they go and he goes with them. So as they're going, he's tells them, you know what, let's go ahead and do a video and get your real story out there. He said, so let's do this. And she says, you know what? Okay, let's get the real video out there. Now, mind you, before she does the video, she's sitting watching an old Joan of Arc movie. You know how Joan of Arc had that short haircut that they depicted because she had pretended, like, I guess, to be a boy or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not good with certain history. But I do know that she, had a horrible ending, even though that she, heard the word of God. And this is the movie she was watching. So the movie inspired her to change her looks. So she cut off all her hair, and then she comes out with this one long earring and cut up a swimsuit type thing and wrapped something around her arm. And now she's dressed like real funky punk-like. It's a cool scene. And then you hear Pat Benatar playing in the background, and it's really, really cool. And when you're a kid, you're like, yeah. Yeah. Even as an adult, I was like, yeah. Good night. Good night. So as they were, filming, she tells the truth. She's like, listen, we didn't steal anything from anyone. The only thing I want is for the money appropriate to fix my brother's scooter that the man's son busted up. She tells that story. She doesn't tell anybody what the guy did, that heard of a man, what he did when he put his hands on her upstairs and tried to accost her. He doesn't tell anyone that. She doesn't talk about that. She's keeping it on subject about the bike, and that's what she wants. And she said, fair is fair. And that was her slogan. Fair is fair. Yeah, well, that's not real life, but okay. So as she goes ahead and the movie goes on, the police officer that she first spoke with, he realizes something's not quite right about the man's story. He remembers that same girl came in there a day ago and said that this man's son stole my brother's moped and destroyed it and everything, and he brushed it off. So he feels responsible. Because he's like, you know what, if I did my job and went there and did what I was supposed to do, then none of this would have been happening right now. And because he feels responsible, he's kind of picking up on clues and keys. He's like, the guy who got lollipopped, he goes ahead and there's a photo of her getting out the pool or out the water. This perv of a man decides to put it in his local store, and sell photos of Billie Jean. Billie Jean everything. He gets t-shirts printed and everything. So he's making money off her. The same guy who accosted her, tried to assault her and everything, is making money off of this child. Disgusting. Disgusting. Sexualizing her, putting her in a certain light, having all these other smarmy, disgusting men and people, period, all of a sudden just want to buy her stuff. All the like teens are loving it and they're trying to buy her stuff because they're like, man, she's so freaking cool. She's, you know, a rebel. I want to be like her. So as you watch the movie, you see like, you know, it's almost like a rebel type of moments. So some people feel like she's a rebel. The younger people feel like she's a rebel. Some of the women feeling like that because they're like, oh yeah, she's standing up against the power of men. And then you have some of these perverted, gross, older men who are leering after an underage girl. Yeah, disgusting. So as the time goes on, you see all this stuff and you're kind of confused a little bit. The guy is making all this money off her. At the same time, he's talking about her like a dog. And you would think that she is the one who shot him. No, no, no. He didn't have a heart-on for the brother. He had it for Billie Jean the whole time. He talked about Billie Jean. He posted signs of Billie Jean. But that's not who lollipopped you, sir. The brother is. He really didn't say much about the brother. So at one point, they set this thing up where they were supposed to meet up. She talked to the police officer. She said, listen, I will turn myself in right now today. Me and my brother, we will freely turn ourselves in if he gives my brother that money back to go fix his moped. So they set this thing up at the mall where he was supposed to return it. And as she goes to the mall, they set up this plan. And instead of stealing stuff, they wrote IOU letters to different stores that they like took like toy walkie-talkies and stuff from, and like a bag of marbles and all this kind of stuff. And as she's seeing the guy, she sees the police officer. The police officer volunteers his money and he's like, give the money to her and we can end this. What does the guy do? He's like, okay. And so the police officer said, I'm wondering if the story you told is completely true, or are you leaving something out? Yes, because he is leaving a whole lot out. But of course, he's not going to tell the police officer that. So he's like, what are you talking about? These kids aren't any good. They're liars. Don't believe anything they say. So that's what he says. And the cop gives him the money. And as he says that, he goes ahead and he leaves. Now, the cop is on the sidelines, so he can't really hear anything. He can't really hear anything. And as she's going ahead and coming down the escalator, she meets up with the guy in the middle of the mall. So he's supposed to hand her over the money, but he's saying a few smart, smarmy things. Like if you'd have just kept your mouth shut and not made a big deal, you'd have loved every second of it. Just being the same perverted, nasty old man that he was. And so he goes ahead and he tosses the money on the ground and steps on it. And he says, get them, boys. He tells his son and his son's friends to hop out of who knows wherever they were to go ahead and try to grab Billie Jean. But she's too fast for them, too quick. So she hops back on the escalator. She hops from one escalator to the other. One of the boys get ready to grab the backpack. And she goes ahead and swiftly kneel in the nards. That's right. Go ahead, Billie Jean. So she gets away. As she running, it's one of them hijink scenes where these people are chasing her. She takes the bag of marbles that was in the backpack and she empties it on the floor, and some of them are slipping and falling, and she takes off and she gets away. The brother, Binks, his immaturity level, I know he's a kid, but his immaturity level makes you want to wring his neck a little bit. She told him to get certain things out the store. And instead of just getting those certain things, hi, Rebecca, how are you? He also gets that, and he gets a toy lollipop that looks like a real one. Yes, really, really looks so much like a real one. You can't really tell unless you're close up on it. So Billie Jean's getting in a car. He gets in a car. He hops out the car because the cop is like, no, don't go anywhere. The cop doesn't have anything out. He knows these are kids and he's trying to end this thing safely. And the brother, what does he do? He hops back out the car and he whips out this fake lollipop on the officer and is like, what are you going to do now? What are you, like, saying all this stuff? And he's like, come on, son. You don't want to do this. Let's end this whole thing. And Billie Jean's like, let's go. Let's get in the car. Let's get in the car. So they hop in the car and they take off. And that is pretty much the end of that scene. And they get away. So you see more of Billie Jean, and her popularity is building and building and building and getting bigger. And they have other situations and issues where they're almost caught, but not really, where they have this run-in because the father of the son, who is the kidnapped boy who really has a thing for Billie Jean, he decides that, you know what, I'm going to give a $10,000 reward. And back in 85, 10,000 is I mean, I'll take 10,000 now, but in 85, 10,000 was actually something to stretch back then. And so the father offers this money, and people are willing to take them up on the offer. Not a lot, but people. So the scene begins where Billie Jean's sitting in the car and some kids come up and says, are you Billie Jean? And she says, yes. And so they say, our friend really needs help. He needs your help now. So she gets up and she walks, and her friend comes with her, and they're walking and walking, walking. As they're walking, crowds of kids from the neighborhoods and neighborhoods close by are following Billie Jean because they think she's the coolest. So all these kids are following her like she's the Pied Piper, and they're following along, and she gets to this house. Once she gets to the house, you can hear the ruckus in the house, and clearly somebody is getting tore up in the house, not in a good way. So it's really sad. She finally decides to enter the house, and she was a little scared too because she's by herself trying to enter the house. And when she opens the door, of course, it's a father, and he is harming his child. And the child is balled up in the corner, and he has bruises on him. And Billie Jean's like, come on, let's go. And the father's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Billie Jean. He's like, you're not Billie Jean. So he gets up and walks to her with this belt as if he's going to do something to her. And what happens next is he looks out his window and out the back door, and he sees kids surrounding his house. And he's like, you really are her. Look, I don't want no trouble. Don't bring your gang in here. They're all like kids, little kids, like not even all of them are teens. Some of them are actually preteens. He's like, don't bring your gang in here. Not saying that, you know, a crowd of people could do all kind of things, but he's like, I got some soda in the back. So he lets them leave with the little boy, and she tells everybody the little boy will be staying with his grandmother. So that scene ended peacefully and was good. But as soon as she get in the car, a woman and her boyfriend are in the car, and the woman's like, stop the car, that's Billie Jean. She's happy to see Billie Jean. She's like one of the people who like, oh my goodness, she's so awesome. And so the guy's like, that's Billie Jean. He grabs a huge lollipop and starts popping at the car with these 4 kids in it. That's right. He starts popping at the car. He's like, I'm going to get us a down payment on the house. That's $10,000 right there. She's like, stop. No, stop. Please stop. He's like, no, not at all. And so then after that, they go ahead and, no, I'm not Indian. I'm a Black American woman. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm a Black American woman. Anyways, so she goes ahead and she gets in a car, and she, they maneuver, and he shoots out he pops out the window and a couple other things, and they have a scare moment because one of the girls in the car is bleeding. But she's not bleeding because she got shot. She's bleeding because she came into her first menses. Please, I hope you know what that means. If not, please look it up because I do not want to explain what that is. So, yeah. So, she's like so worried about her friends at this point because she's like, oh my goodness, that was a close call. This could have really ended badly. So she decides in the middle of the night while they're sleeping that she was just going to take her and her brother and basically run off because her friends really didn't have anything to do with it, but they were coming along because they want to support her. And who else wants to come with her? That's right. The kidnapped victim who really, really likes Billie Jean. I mean, he really, really likes her. So he goes ahead and runs with them. She calls the cop. The cop comes and he wakes them up and he takes the friends home so that they can be with their parents. Of course, the friends were not happy with it, but they understood that she was looking out for their safety because it did get dangerous that day before. They were just getting lollipopped at. That's right, they was getting popped at. So, you know, I get it. You know, she didn't want to involve them any further than they were already involved. So, next, you know, the cop's still trying to talk to Billie Jean, and he's trying to tell her, come home. We can talk this out. We can figure it out. So a radio station says, as long as you're out there, we'll give you more money every day. So she's still on the run. Her and her brother gets briefly separated along as with the kidnapped victim. And there's some her trying to figure out how to reconnect. So as Billie Jean is on the run, it's almost like an underground thing because a lot of her fans are helping her and getting her from one place to another until she's able to get back home to where she know that her brother would go, to a golf course that is, you know, no longer in service. And it's like a mini golf place or whatever. And that's where she finds her brother and the kidnapped victim. So they all reunite. And it was a beautiful scene because her and the guy, actually she's starting to really like the guy too. And she's happy to see her little brother. So they decide that she decides that, you know what, we're going to end this. I'm going to talk to the guy, the police officer, one more time. So she does. And they come up with this idea. We're going to meet at this day and this time. This day and time that she picks, it's supposed to be a big beach party so she can blend in with the crowd, which was a smart thing. So the father of the kidnapped victim is running for attorney general. So he's like, you know, really trying to do things big and everything. And he decides that he's going to call some sharp lollipoppers to come to the scene. Yeah, where there's thousands of kids piled over the beach, which was like a weird thing. But I guess he wanted to look like he was hard on crime or something. It just was not a good look. And so next thing you know, Billie Jean is supposed to be coming out with the kidnapped victim, which he's not a victim because he's not really kidnapped. He was just going along with everything. And he comes out. And as he comes out, you see that they go ahead, and as they get closer, it really was not Billie Jean. It was really the brother. And so the son of the smarmy, nasty guy runs up and says, that's not Billie Jean. That's the brother. That's Binks. So Binks takes the toy lollipop, aims it at the guy, and that's when the sharp lollipoppers, Binks, that's right, they did. And Billie Jean loses it. She's in the crowd. People don't recognize her because she has a curly wig on. And eventually you see Binks getting carted off in the ambulance because they only popped him in the shoulder. And he survives. He's okay. So after that, you see the scene where she's just kind of walking around a daze because, you know, she don't know how her brother is. She don't know what's going on. So as she's walking around, she walks past a stand where the nasty, smarmy guy who tried to grape her is selling her likeness. He's selling pictures of her, photos of her, t-shirts, hats, posters, all kind of stuff of her. He's making money off of her. And so she walks up to him and he's shocked and surprised because she pulls a wig off, and he's shocked and surprised that it's her. And he realized it's too many people around, so he doesn't want her to say too much. So he says, hey, you know, I'm sorry. Look, let me go in here and register. He gives her, next thing you know, who comes? The AG, the lieutenant who was, you know, been chasing after her, and everybody's standing around and they're seeing what's going on. They're not saying anything. They're just standing by. And so he gives her a wad of cash. He said, I don't know how much is in there. It doesn't matter. More, less, let's just say, go ahead and take it's probably a lot more than that. Just take everything. Take it all. You know, we don't have to talk about anything. Just take the money. And she said, oh, you want me to take the money? She was like, you want me to take this money? She said, or is this the pay me to keep my mouth shut of what you really did upstairs in your store when you tried to keep me up there? Yeah. And so as she's saying all this, the officer looking like, yeah, I already knew that's what it had to be. And the AG is starting to realize, oh, so all this stuff that's going on is this man's fault. That's right. Because really, the brother was trying to protect the sister, and they was trying to get away and get out that store. So anyways, everything unfolds. She pushes him, knocks him over, and it was like a little torch, like the little tiki torches, whatever, and it catches the stand catches fire. All the t-shirts and all that start catching on fire, and she throws her stuff, posters into the fire, and everybody just start rallying around her, and they start taking off their hats and their t-shirts that got Billie Jean all over. They're throwing it all in the fire because she just told everybody everything. She just told the world, hey, this dude tried to SA me. This man is like, oh my God. This guy, you know, is such a horrendous piece of dong, you know. So this is what's going on. So once Billie Jean said everything to the world, they're realizing the truth of it, and they're trying to, you know, just distance themselves away from this nastiness. And they realize how much it's probably hurting her for them to walk around with t-shirts of her getting out the water, you know, so exposed and everything. So they're like, hey, I guess this isn't cool. So they start throwing it away, especially since this guy just made all this money off them, and they're torching all the products. And the guy's like, hey, everyone, get somebody, get the fire department, get the... Yeah, nobody was coming, and everything burns down. That's right, it all burns down. And then that's almost the end. But in the background, you hear that Pat Benatar song starts playing again. And it's going, going, going. It sounded so good. The next thing you know, you see them at the end. The brother is free. Billie Jean is free. And they're in Vermont like they always want to be. And now the brother's complaining about it's too cold for not Vermont. That's right. And that is the full breakdown of The Legend of Billie Jean. Oh my goodness, it was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get a chance to see it until the 90s, but you know, it was still a really good movie. The movie came out in 1985. It's an hour and 36 running times, hour and 36 minute running time. It has Christian Slater in it and Helen Slater, and a host of really, really good actors. I truly, truly enjoyed it. And I think you would too. If you have one of those moments where you want to watch something throwback-ish, even if you're young and you've never watched something this old, I know sometimes it might be hard, but it is on Tubi right now. So it is free. It's free. Okay, so go for it. What do you have to lose? Check it out, The Legend of Billie Jean. And that is my review and full breakdown for today. Thank you all for staying with me and joining me.